What's cracking, everyone? This is Solomon Esk here for Whiskey and RPGs, and I wanted to start a new tradition here on this channel. Before we start, I just wanted to toast to something or someone that is truly amazing, just to kind of start the day with good vibes and whatnot. And today's toast goes to my friend Amateur James, so here's to you, buddy. Yeah, the reason why I wanted to toast to him today is because he's somebody who's been showing me a tremendous amount of support, and despite the fact that I've met him fairly recently. And so yeah, if you're somebody who watches Twitch and you're into Pokemon or you're into photography, he has his own photography business. And if you're into also Fortnite, he's been playing a lot of Tarkov, I think, lately, and he's really into Jesus Christ. Maybe he's a channel for you to check out, and if you do, let him know that I sent you. But anyways, guys, we got a lot of news to cover. I do appreciate you guys tuning in, and let's get started. Cheers. So the first bit of news I wanted to cover was the new Final Fantasy VII trailer that was released, I believe, yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday. And yeah, you actually might be able to get new tidbits about the remake and whatnot. I mean, it is a remake after all, so it's not like it's really going to be spoiling anything for you guys. But yeah, they did release a new trailer. I actually did a reaction to it, but I hardly said anything, so I'm not going to be posting that. I was really trying to concentrate on all the different characters that you see there. But to be honest with you, I don't really remember anyone outside of the characters that you actually played from the original. I don't even remember like the supportive NPCs that help you along the quests. And in terms of antagonists go, I only remember Sephiroth. Like, that's it. I know there was other people in there and stuff like that, but watching the trailer, I was like, oh, who is that guy? I don't remember him. It's been like 10 years since I played Final Fantasy VII, but I mean, I guess it would be a pretty interesting thing to play it before the game drops. But anyways, there you go. We have the trailer there, and it actually is on YouTube if you want to come check it out. So the second bit of news I wanted to cover was Starbase. They released a new trailer, and it looks really cool. I did get to see the trailer a little bit, but I want to see it again with you guys. And if I'm not mistaken, this was originally a Roblox type of game, and they definitely increased their production value. The graphics looks amazing. The movements are more fluid, and it's just overall a more polished game, it looks like, rather than having it, super blocky as, the name Roblox, I would assume, came from. So it's still gonna, I would assume, still gonna be that open world MMORPG, sci-fi MMORPG, where you get to build ships and build cities and stuff like that. And so, as somebody who's really into sandbox, this looks really interesting. I'm really looking forward to this one. That looks pretty damn amazing. Look at that. Now, the buildings do kind of look a bit too colorful for my tastes, but it still looks pretty awesome nonetheless. Yeah, like neon light. Oh crap! I went back too far. Like those neon yellow railings, like that's a little. It's it kind of reminds me of Legos, but maybe that's what they're going for. Oops. So you'll notice that everybody that we saw so far are robots or not cyborgs. Yeah, they're all robots. So I'm guessing that that's just like the default character that you will have that you get to customize. That's really cool. Did you see the way that he created, like, using a tool like just to be able to put things together and fix things. That's actually really awesome. Very sandbox like. I mean, what more could I say about that? See, look at another scene of that giant space station or something. It looks pretty cool. The planet on the background looks really intense too. So you know there's going to be mat collecting involved. That's pretty cool. So I'm guessing there's going to be giant space battles. That's cool. Oh, look at that. That's really interesting. So there's definitely going to have oh, okay. So what I meant to say was, like, even though when you pause it, it's a little pixelated here and stuff like that, but it's still pretty realistic, given that, you know, again, it's supposed to be or was a Roblox game, right? But a lot of it, I will admit, kind of gives you that Lego Roblox feeling anyways, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you don't really get a sense of any of that in the robots themselves that you take control over. Very bright, very vivid. The graphics actually look really cool. Ooh, that's bright. Fuel left, fuel right. It's definitely no Star Citizen, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, look at that scene. That's a beautiful scene. Looks like that's it. Very cool. Very cool. Is there more at the end? Nope. Okay, so as far as I can tell, or from what I read or heard, there's actually so in MMOs there's different classes, obviously. I mean, that's just pretty much the staple of any RPGs these days, especially MMOs. But from what I read and from what I've heard, there's actually, you're going to be able to learn different things and code even too, if I'm not mistaken. Like, you're able to code different things within the game so that it allows you to pick up a particular craft or be able to perform different tasks, rather than have everything written for you, in a way. Did that make any sense? So I don't know, hang on. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that there isn't a class per se, but there will be different things that you could do within the game that will allow you to become, say, like a shipbuilder or a weaponsmith, and things like that. And you would need different types of skills or even coding to understand how the game works and plays. And so people could hire you for different tasks, and something that a lot of MMOs are missing these days. I would argue. I know back then, say for example in World of Warcraft, when it first came out, you know, you had different what are those called, like different professions, and you know, you could be a blacksmith, you could be a weaponsmith and stuff like that, and you'd be able to gather your mats and sell it for a profit or make it for guildings and whatnot. And they still have that even with MMOs today, but it's really not that in depth. Probably, I don't know, maybe Black Desert Online, but even then, like, you could only sell the stuff that you make. You can't actually even give it to other players because it's, you know, whatever, weird like that. So, but maybe, you know, Starbase will be able to kind of fill in that gap and really truly bring back what it feel, or bring back that feeling that oh man, I can't even talk. Hopefully Starbase will able to give players that feeling of being the feeling of being significant within their own trade or something like that. That's what I'm trying to say. So next bit of news I wanted to talk about was TERA's Crescent Sea update, right? So hop a treasure ship in TERA's Crescent Sea update coming to PC in February. NMAS dropped a bunch of info on Crescent Sea, the next big update launching for the flagship PC version of TERA. It boosts Runeglav, the what? I don't even know how to pronounce that. I don't even know what that is. Oh, it's a new class? The Rune something wielding Ellen Valkyrie. Of course it's a new Ellen class. I mean, max capacity of 23 character slots and a new 5-person dungeon themed around a treasure ship. But like, will it actually have like sea content? This update also takes max level players to the open ocean in the Sea of Honor. Yeah. 5-player dungeon. Having already taken to the skies and defeated enemies on the soaring skyships, the Sea of Honor dungeon brings players to the high seas of TERA. Okay, players can only enter through this dungeon. Okay, so I was thinking, oh, maybe they're gonna have ship play mechanics in this game. You know, something similar to Sea of Thieves or Arcade or even Black Desert Online. But no, it's just the theme of the new update, new class, a new Ellen class again, and a new sea themed dungeon, it looks like. But yeah, I bring this up just because I've played TERA for many years. It's been a while since I last logged in. Still have my old account and everything. Maybe it'd be worth checking out maybe in the future. So just real quick, there's another game called Astaria, not to be confused with Astellia. Two completely different games. Astellia came out earlier, or in the later half of last year, and that's your traditional, you know, MMORPG with classes and stuff like that, quests, run-of-the-mill stuff. Astaria is a bit different. Astaria is supposed to be a little bit more difficult. I believe it's a sandbox MMORPG, and it was supposed to go for early access on Steam today, but I think there was some sort of confusion within Steam's part, and Astellia, the other MMO, ended up being labeled as a DLC, and that prevented people from getting refunds or something like that. I don't know if it's related to this, but it's Astaria was supposed to go to early access, but I guess something happened, and that's not going to happen for another few months, unfortunately. But it's a beautiful looking game if you look at some of the trailers here. Right, and the game is a little wonky looking, but again, I think this is all alpha. Jeez, it's loud. Yeah, so the graphics looks absolutely amazing, and plus, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this game is being developed by one person too. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe this is a 1 or 2 person team here. And if it is, it's truly a labor of love and pretty amazing if that's the case. Project TL. Now, this one's really interesting. I read it earlier, it doesn't really give us a whole lot of information other than the fact that, yes, NCSoft is still developing this game right now. And I remember watching an episode from MMO Byte earlier this weekend. One of the episodes that he released was why we're not getting... what's the game called that's like this? Lost Ark. I know a lot of people are interested in Lost Ark, and it came out for Russia, and I believe it's coming out for Japan, if I'm not mistaken. But there's no. But he was expressing the opinion that it may not never come out for the North America. Excuse me. For the North American audience. I don't know if it's I listened to all of his arguments. I don't know if it's necessarily true. Maybe it is, I don't know. But either way, in terms of action RPGs, we don't have a whole lot. I know there's other titles like Albion Online, for example, that's out there. There's also Path of Exile, but it's not really an MMO. It's more like a action RPG, multiplayer action RPG more than an MMO, I guess you could say. I'm not exactly sure how to categorize that game, but there are a few titles out there, but none like Project TL or Lost Ark in my opinion. And so yeah, so Massively Overpowered did an article, and you know, they're saying that I guess they released new concept art here. Or okay, so they're linking another article from MMO Culture, which posted these concept art. And what's really cool is that it still takes place within the lore of Lineage. I did play the original one, the first one, years ago. I didn't really get into it because it was just so... Oh, that game. It was... I mean, you talk about some of the more hardcore MMOs today. Back then, like the original Lineage, that game was just insane. You know, that and like EVE Online. Whew. So... yeah, I'll definitely look forward to that. I think they said they were gonna go into beta this year too, and hopefully they'll do a beta here in the US. So be on the lookout for that as well. So this one, I didn't read any of it, so let's dive into this one. Interview: Camelot Unchained's Mark Jacobs announced a new game called Colossus. Camelot Unchained Studio City State Entertainment has been teasing something big for a while now. This morning, CSE's Mark Jacobs told backers to tune in for more this afternoon's stream, as devs aim to show off a lot of cool stuff that they've been working on since July of 2019. Well, now it's the news is official. CSE has been working on a second online game that in tandem with Camelot. It's called Colossus, and it's a co-op multiplayer PvE title in which player heroes battle impossibly large swarms of enemies using the same engine built for mass-scale warfare in CU, or Camelot Unchained. Launch has been tentatively set at the end of 2020. So yeah, that looks interesting. So just based on that last paragraph of in itself, that kind of reminds me of Gears of War, to be honest with you, because if you remember, Gears of War had a horde mode where you and up to 4 or 3 other players would defeat enemies upon waves, and they get progressively harder. But you know, hopefully you'll collect enough points or whatever currency to upgrade and install turrets and traps and stuff like that. So that actually might work pretty well. I mean, I immensely enjoyed Gears of War Horde mode. Matter of fact, I think that's all I played after I beat the campaign on the most super difficult setting. And yeah, just played that for years on end, and I had a lot of fun. If it plays anything like that, I definitely look forward to it. So yeah, as MMO players recall, Camelot Unchained was kickstarted in 2013, but since then it's missed the anticipated launch date by quite a large margin. As we spoke to Jacobs last year, we rattled off all the stated reasons for the delays: engineer hiring problems, the creation of a second studio, code refactoring, and a built from scratch engine custom tuned for massive RVR. Ahead of the reveal today, Massively OP's Elliot. There's that name again that I can't pronounce. I'm so sorry. Elliot, I'm just going to call him Elliot. And I have been picking Jacob's brain about these big studio undertakings and their impact on MMO players and backers, given Jacob's history and the fact that Camelot continues to offer refunds even now. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So backers will probably want to hear what he has to say, particularly how they're getting Colossus for free, and Camelot will hopefully be improved with its success. Elliot's even gotten to play the new game a bit in a very early stage. We pulled together some questions for Jacobs for the interview that follows. Wow, that's actually a really comprehensive Q&A actually. So yeah, if you're interested, if you're a Camelot Unchained fan, or if you're just looking at something new, again, this definitely fits into the RPG aspect of things, not necessarily an MMO, but you know, wow, that is a lot. Yeah, definitely check out, go on over to massivelyop.com, and they'll have this Q&A session if you're interested in it. It's just too much for me to cover, given, you know, the time restraints that I have on this video. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was Bless Unleashed, and they have started their stress test. And yeah, again, I know it's Bless Unleashed, screw Bless, and I get it. Bless royally screwed their player base and their fans, but I give them my reasons why I still look forward to this game. I'm hoping that they learn from their mistakes, and yeah, let's kind of see what's going on. A stress test for Bless Unleashed is now live until February 3rd. The server infrastructure stress test is a final check to make sure server stability is optimal for launch, according to the press release. New and returning players from the previous betas are invited to come and stress the servers. Programming from the open beta will carry over to the server infrastructure test. You'll be able to participate in a series of events to take on the biggest enemies of Bless Unleashed with timed dungeon competitions and field boss trades. The level cap is set to 30 for this test, and of course there are rewards. All participants will receive 7-day Valor perks when the game launches. If a player already unlocked 7-day Valor perks for their participation in the open beta, they will receive 14 days of Valor perks. So yeah, I didn't even know you could actually beta test this game. I might have to check that out. Although you probably will have to purchase a pre-order or a pre-order package, right? So yeah, if you look at the comments, I mean, there's a couple. But anyways, I'll definitely have to look into that, and if I do get into the beta, I will let you guys know, and I'll test it myself. Again, the game looks beautiful, but there's obviously... the game has to look more than just look beautiful in order for the game to be good, right? So, you guys know me. I'm a huge mecha fan. I love covering games that have robots, especially if they look like this, and it's definitely something out of, say, Armored Core or Gundam, right? So it's called RF Online. I have no idea what this game is about, and it's apparently coming to Brazil. Alright, so a bespoke version of RF Online is arriving to Brazil, dubbed RF Evolution. Specifically, the server will evolve along with the development of its players, according to the press release. The aim here is to provide more opportunities for new players. If you're unfamiliar with RF Online, such as myself, it's self-described as a Korean mass PvP-oriented MMORPG infused with an original political system which allows players to lead their race. RF Evolution intends to make grinding less of a hassle. The game is also, I can't read. The game is hosting pre-order sales packs for those interested. We'll definitely have to check that out. Oh, but everything's in Portuguese. Like, I don't know if this is a lot. Like, it says it has a dollar sign. I don't know if that's using our currency. I don't know any of this. I can't read any of this. It looks interesting enough. Let's look up, or we could translate. Oh, look at that. Google Translate. Wow. A completely new server concept. New stages are unlocked as the server progresses by releasing new level limits, and depending on your gaming experience, fight to become the most powerful hero. The old days of RF are back with lower rates of challenging obstacles. Those show your enemies later. Okay. So with this one, you get an exclusive hat, nickname reservation, premium account 30 days, chocolate, PT potion. Not sure what all that is about. Oh, they actually translated the prices. No, yeah, they did translate the prices, but I don't think this is correct. How is it that the lieutenant pack, the one that you get the most for, is less expensive than the original, than the mid-tier one, right? So I just did Google RF Online on YouTube. I did watch a few playthroughs, although they were from different channels, and so because I don't have permission to record that, I haven't included it in this segment. But the game looks old, and I'm seeing it's kind of, this comment here kind of confirms it. I remember winning a beta invite from this game, from the site for this game 14 years ago, and that looks about right. If you actually look at the graphics for this game, it looks dated. It looks extremely dated, and if the game is still alive, it probably says something about the game. I don't know. So I can tell you right now, I don't think the game is gonna look anything like what you see here with this robot, although that is a pretty cool looking picture. TERA Hero. So I kind of skimmed over the news a little bit before, yeah, I guess they renamed it to TERA Hero. Around around a week back, we covered the announcement of TERA Hero, a new Unreal Engine 4 mobile game currently in development by Red Sahara Studio, a team under the Krafton label. While we still do not know the exact genre of TERA Hero, we were given a peek at the playable classes. While only 12 are revealed, it is mentioned that the roster will have 18 at launch. Most of these classes can already be found in TERA, with special care given to the Ellen with 4 unnamed classes. Of course, it's just like, I get catering to your demographic, but this is just weird, man. This is, anyways. I have a really close friend, and we always go back and forth in terms of how weird that is. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say anything more about that, but I get the lolly thing, but it's just too weird for me. It's just too weird. So just to let you guys know, the game is still being developed, and if you're into lollies, I don't judge, but yeah, you got lollies to look forward to here. So yeah, the next one I've been hearing a lot of buzz about is Gran Saga. Gran Saga, former Seven Knights developer, reveals first gameplay trailer for the new title. Okay, and I'm hoping when they say new game trailer title, I'm hoping they're referring to the PC version, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this game is being co-developed for both the PC and mobile. But anyways, Korean developer NPIXEL, founded by a group of former Seven Knights developers, today released the first gameplay trailer for its maiden title, Gran Saga. Before we talk about it, do note that NPIXEL recently received a huge investment of over USD 25 million, which certainly adds to the studio's credit. Powered by the Unreal Engine 4, the new trailer showcases actual in-game graphics, though understandably without the user interface yet. NPIXEL also spoke to several media outlets visiting their office, and the summary is below. That's actually a really cool concept art. I wish I could draw like that. That'd be pretty amazing. Let's see. The game development for Gran Saga is centered around 3 foundations, including innovative visual, innovative storytelling, and innovative enjoyment. So, I'm looking at that statement, but innovative storytelling is the one that I'm kind of a little skeptical on. I play a lot of MMOs and RPGs from Korea in my time. You know, going way back from Aeon, for sure. And innovative storytelling, like, I kind of got into the story of Aeon, and that's pretty much about it. Like, I kind of got the story of Black Desert Online 2, but not really. Nothing as, say, in-depth with, like, Star Wars The Old Republic or Final Fantasy XIV, in my opinion. But visual, check. I mean, all Korean MMOs, not all, but a lot of Korean MMOs, I mean, they're the most visually stunning MMOs that are in the market right now. And innovative enjoyment, again, that could be a more or less debatable depending on what you like, so I'll give that one a pass. NPIXEL mentioned that they realize more people are having fun watching games now, though events such as esports or gaming streaming, through the events of such as esports or gaming streaming. Hence, innovative visual is to aim to develop Gran Saga using graphics and production values not seen on the mobile market within the same genre. Okay, so that's what they meant by that. Okay. They're taking the streaming popularity in mind. Innovative storytelling is the aim to immerse players in a fantasy world of Gran Saga through excellent game narratives. It will also connect players with the massive scale of the world and characters and forming an emotional attachment. Storytelling is key here. I agree with that statement. I really hope they pull through with that one. So again, there is another that's actually it, huh? Gran Saga is developed for both. Okay, see, that's what I thought. Gran Saga is developed for both mobile and PC platforms. The current server setup allows cross-platform play, but is not confirmed as the game might launch on one platform earlier than the other. So it'll play similar to, say, something like Fortnite, where you can actually play against players from different ports, or what do you call it? Different platforms, so you got PC players and Xbox and PlayStation players, like, fighting each other and teaming up together. So Gran Saga has been in development for 2.5 years now, with NPIXEL having 170 employees. So this is going to be a very big deal then. Man, that's impressive. However, they are working on a couple other games as well. There's no plan for a global one build. There's no plan for a global one build, and NPIXEL will look into self-launch Gran Saga in its home country of South Korea first. Not surprising. That's understandable. The game was originally called Gran Saga, but eventually settled on Gran Saga. Oh, Gran Saga as opposed to Grand with the D Saga. Okay. Oh man, sorry. I don't know why my throat's With many MMO RPG launches in South Korea, the NPIXEL team looked for ways to break away from its uniformity. I definitely agree with that. I hope they do. Thus, rather than focus on a vertical growth represented by the combat power, the Grand Weapon was introduced. This system adds a strategic element to the overall combat system and the ability to train a variety of different characters. More details about the Grand Weapon and horizontal growth features will arrive soon. Awesome. The team behind Gran Saga is... okay. So I think that's enough about that. Let's definitely check out the trailer. Let's see if it's... Ah, dang it. I just noticed. It says the actual... right here in the... oh, my thing's in the way. Hang on. See right there? If I could get rid of that. It says actual game footage on a mobile device. So yeah, unfortunately, this isn't the PC version. The new I was hoping the new footage would be for the PC version, but this is for the mobile. It still looks pretty damn amazing, though. So as you could already tell, so this is shipping up to be another anime MMORPG, and we don't have too many of those, if any, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Yeah, it's just a beautiful looking game, but that's not really a surprise. I mean, Korean developers always have their graphical their graphics at top priority. And of course you have your Lolly class, as always.
따라올 수 없을걸?
당신을 기다렸어요.
받아라! 아! 쓸어라! 그 끝에 용기를! 더 커다란 힘을! 계약의 증거, 이 몸을! 보여주마! 샷!
어리석긴. 이것만은 안 하려고 했는데. 지킬 수 있는 힘을 약해지면 안 돼.
One thing that kind of popped up into my mind while watching this, the classes I think might be gender locked. Because you'll notice that you'll see the same characters over and over again, and they'll have a particular weapon, but you don't see any other gender, carrying the same type of weapon, So I know that's going to be very irritating to a lot of people. Again, this is just pure speculation, but I think it's still reasonable speculation considering a lot of Korean MMO RPGs do this. Black Desert Online, for example. And a lot of times, I think that it's a feature, even though not many people like, it's something that I know a lot of people overlook, especially with me when it comes to Black Desert Online. Yeah, I know there's probably a lot of people out there that won't play the game just for that fact alone, and that's understandable, because I think when you want to create a character, there's a certain way, a certain look, and a certain feel you want to create. And gender locking the character to a specific class or a profession definitely hinders that. So, but again, that's my speculation. I really don't know if that's going to be the case, although I wouldn't really be surprised if it was.
저와 함께해요.
대지의 힘을 나타내봐라! 모두 쓸어주마! 더 단단하게!
What's really cool about this particular scene is that you're going to have different environments. And I know it's very subtle and it's not that big of a deal in certain circumstances, but I think that's really cool because we went from like a really bright, shining, very vivid landscape with a lot of greenery and ocean and blue skies to, the desert, a lot of gloom, a lot of haziness, and, different types of monsters. So you really, look at sort of the aesthetics and the different types of enemies and also the different types of environments. I like variety. The one of the surest ways for a game to remain stagnant is to reuse the same old what do you call those assets over and over again, like reskins and stuff like that, which is super annoying. But it doesn't seem like this game will have that problem, so that's actually really cool. And of course, more lollies. Oh my goodness. That looks eerily similar to an Ellen from TERA that we were just talking about. And that guy kind of looks like Sephiroth, which isn't a bad thing. He looks really cool. I will admit that. Like, out of all the tunes, if I were to main one, I would have mained that guy. So now we have like a built up to like certain cutscenes to really emphasize story, I'm hoping.
우릴 반하겠어.
Wow. Wow.
봐줄 때 도망쳤어야지.
And remember, this is all on mobile. That is super impressive.
절망 선산 전부 사라져라.
너무 신나.
And again, I think they're going back and forth to different enemies to kind of really,
모두를 지켜낼 거야.
yeah, to really emphasize the story part of this game, which I really do appreciate. So yeah, this looks to be really awesome. Now, if you've known me for a while, I will jokingly tend to bash strictly mobile gaming players, but I there's sort of a hint of truth to what I'm saying though, because there's an argument amongst people who like to play console and PC games that sort of the mobile market is like ruining it for everybody else, because a lot of companies will now develop games for the mobile platform because it requires less money to develop, which I'm assuming that's the case. So less labor, less money, less investment, but also the turnaround is that much greater. It's more profitable, and I think Black Desert Online is evidence of that, because I believe that they said that most of the profits came from the Black Desert Online mobile version than the PC and the console versions put together. And at one hand, I don't blame the companies. You know, they're not a charity, they're there to make a profit, but at the same time, it's just like, as somebody who, you know, who plays games primarily on the PC, it's just like, there's no way I'm going to be able to have that gaming experience on a little tiny screen, you know? And it's just like, it's just so unfortunate in a certain way, but maybe this is a good compromise. You know, as we just saw, Gran Saga looks like an amazing game, and they're making it for both platforms, and I suppose I should be thankful for that and be grateful. At least it's not just solely a mobile game. Although I would probably argue, I guess it's really it depends on which way you're coming at this. If it was strictly a mobile title, I would have not even covered this game. And I think a lot of people who cover MMOs and MMORPGs wouldn't have given this a thought. But because it's also being developed for the PC, it's gaining, in my opinion, a lot more tractions, a lot more buzz, and a lot more people are talking about that. So maybe this is a good compromise. Again, I'm not going to be selfish enough to say that, oh, you know, they should strictly stick to PC and console games because that's all I like. I mean, I don't think that's reasonable at all. So so good on NPIXEL for maybe finding a middle ground in all this, you know, hardcore versus casual gamer debate that goes on in the internet. So oh yeah, so here's some other news that I thought would be worth covering. I never played Dauntless, but I've seen many people who have. It gained a huge spike in popularity last year, at the end of last year. I don't know how it's doing now. Let's check and see actually. Oh man, that's a big huge drop. So yeah. So if you look at Dauntless under Twitch, currently it's sitting at around 349 viewers. It does have, you know, about 250,000 followers, but at its heyday or at its peak, it had like 20,000, 30,000, maybe even 50,000 people watching it. Now, again, the amount of viewers who watch this game doesn't necessarily correlate to the actual popularity of the game. I get that, but I still think it's a really good gauge. I think it's still a really good litmus test in terms of how a game is doing. And even though about 350 viewers is not a bad number, if you look at some of the more popular games out there, you know, they'll still do like, you know, a couple thousand, like Black Desert Online, for example. That game came out like 3-4 years ago, and it still, on average, I would say, still does about 5,000 viewers per day. And this game just came out, so I don't know. Maybe it was just a one-hit wonder type of thing, but going back to what I was saying earlier, Dauntless, the developers of Dauntless was acquired by another company, Garena. I think that's how you say their name. Garena, the digital entertainment arm of global consumer internet company C Limited, has acquired Dauntless developer Phoenix Labs, the company announced. The companies intend to work together to continue building Phoenix Labs' development team, add new features to Dauntless by continuing to add new features, and explore new growth opportunities in markets such as Asia, Latin America, as well as on the mobile. I could see that. I think Dauntless still looks like a pretty amazing game, but I think it's I don't think it exceeds that graphic intensity enough to actually rule the mobile part out. So again, I've never played Dauntless. Been meaning to as an RPG fan, but I don't know, I just didn't really get into it. But I know a lot of my friends have, so that's probably news that wow, I can't even talk. I gotta stop drinking while I do these things, and maybe that's what the problem is. But there you have it, guys. That's today's MMO and RPG news. I really do appreciate you guys checking in, and if you haven't done so, please consider giving a like and a subscription as well. It definitely helps with the algorithms, concerning as of now I only have 27 subscribers, so yeah, I definitely do appreciate all the support thus far. I mean, that's still 27 more subscribers than I thought I'd ever get, considering there's a ton of people out there who do this a lot better, and yeah, so I do appreciate it. And until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I will see you guys next time. Cheers.